Welcome, fellow patriots. I'm Gary Harbaugh, Co-State Director for Operations for Indiana Convention of States. Got a question to ask you tonight. Do you know why Donald Trump never visits an optometrist? Well, the word has it that he's already got 20/20. And like Donald Trump, we have a plan for 2020. We call it the District Captain Mission Excellence Plan. And I want to talk to you about that now and give you some information that will hopefully help you to engage in activities as a district captain. The Mission Excellence Plan is new this year, and I'm going to go to share my screen with you on this. Hopefully that's going to work as expected. And let's take a look at that. So the District Captain Mission Excellence Plan is for 2020, something new that we are utilizing as a tool to help district captains focus on the most important things and help us kind of keep track of what activity is being conducted throughout the state. There are points associated with these that kind of indicate the value that we see in them relative to other activities. And there are goals for district captains to achieve. We target certain levels for each quarter, and I'll talk about these individually here in a minute. But goals for the year. This isn't to say, you have to reach the targets or reach the goals, but hopefully it is a method for us to kind of measure how effective we are being on a statewide level. So there are three fundamental jobs for a district captain, really two. One is growing the grassroots. The second is building legislative relationships. We threw in a third category here of general and training. Now, if my picture, my image on your screen is over the top of this, you can just drag that over to a different corner so it doesn't obstruct your view. I want to begin with general and training. And the general and training has 5 areas here. One for new district captains is to complete 6 modules of training. That's worth 6 points. Attend a monthly state call, and there's a call each month. Hopefully you'll be on that call. That's worth 1 point. 2 points if you attend any Tuesday national district captain or volunteer webinar. 1 point to attend any other national weekly webinar, and there are webinars pretty much every day of the week of some kind or another that can be beneficial for training if you find one that's particularly of interest to you. And number 2, or the last one, worth 2 points, is to complete any COS University course. There are many courses, and there are new ones being added on a regular basis. So a target for a district captain is to get 5 what we call GT, general and training points, per calendar quarter. If you tune in on a couple of state calls and join in on some training, you can pretty easily accomplish that 5 points in a calendar quarter and accumulate 20 points for the year by engaging in those activities. Particularly like to emphasize being on the monthly state call. That keeps you in the loop on everything that's happening throughout the state. If you're brand new, obviously we want you to complete the training and get those 6 points. And I want you to download this in Slack and record the points for yourself each quarter. And I'll talk more about how we'll utilize that a little later on. So major area of responsibility for district captain is to build a legislative relationships. And various activities we've outlined here. One is a phone call with a legislative assistant. So if you call your state reps and ask to speak to his or her legislative assistant, it'd be a great time just to get acquainted, let them know that you're a contact for Convention of States and you'd like to get acquainted with them. That's worth 1 point. meet and greet any legislator at a public event. So for Republicans, they typically have bean dinners once a year. You can go and meet and greet a number of legislators at those typically, and just introduce yourself. Say, hi, my name's Gary. I'm a Convention of States volunteer, and I'm pleased to meet you. That's worth 1 point. You can also meet them at if they have a town hall meeting, things like that. So any place where you might connect with a state legislator just to meet and greet, say hi. Next area worth 2 points is a meaningful phone call with a state legislator. This might be to introduce yourself. Again, relationship building is what we want to focus on. You want to get acquainted with your state rep or your state senator. They're all part-time legislators, so they have other lives outside of the legislature. Get to know them and find out about their family, the work they do. Talk to them about maybe what's coming up in the upcoming legislative session, what areas are important to them. If there's legislation they're interested in trying to push through, find out about that. Get acquainted with your state rep and state senator. The next 2 are worth 3 points apiece: a handwritten letter or note to an assigned or targeted legislator, and a positive scheduled meeting with any legislator. And that's a get acquainted type meeting. Handwritten notes, we have found out that these are exceedingly important. State legislators get, emails by the 100. A handwritten note, handwritten letter from a constituent is enormously influential. It's powerful. Some of these folks walk around with these in their pocket, the ones they've gotten, because they're so impressed the fact that people actually took the time to handwrite them a note. Because let's face it, that's a rare thing today. And we want to be the exceptional people who are known for being kind and engaging, and we want to engage with our state reps. The next area is worth 5 points is a 34 Ready meeting. And if you don't know what 34 Ready is, Paul Phillips can fill you in on that. And that's where you really focus in on things to do with Convention of States and what we want to accomplish as an organization. And then 5 points also for participation in a capital surge event. If you go and a capital surge and you meet with your legislator and present 34 Ready, that could be worth 10 points. So it's not about accumulating lots of points. I mean, if you want to do that, that's great. That's just a way for us to kind of show the relative value of things. So we want each district captain to try to accumulate 3 legislator relationship points each calendar quarter. So a couple of phone calls or a meet and greet, a few things like that can accomplish that. And a goal to achieve 12 legislator relationship points in a year. Hopefully you will accumulate a lot more than that by getting acquainted with your state rep and state senator and spending some time getting to know them, having them get to know you. Other major area of responsibility for district captains, what we call growing the grassroots. There are lots of activities that can fit into this. I've outlined a number of them here. There may be other things that come to your mind. I'm going to talk about these. First one, a call-in to a radio station program regarding Convention of States. So if there's a morning program or an afternoon program in your area where people call in and talk about things, and you have the opportunity to call in and make a mention of Convention of States and, what we're trying to accomplish, how it can help solve the problems that we have in our country today, and you do that, give yourself a point for that. In fact, all of these, you download this sheet to your computer, and you can record your own points right there in this column that's grayed out in column B. Another point for a presentation at another group's meeting. So if it's a Kiwanis Club, a church group, group of people you work with, Tea Party group meeting, anything like that where you have the opportunity to make a pitch about Convention States, whether it's 5 minutes or a half an hour, that's worth a point. Plus, we're going to give you a point for every guest that happens to be at that meeting. and 2 points for each petition that you get signed. So if you put out some paper petitions and people get the bug and want to join in and sign, that's worth 2 points for each one of those petitions. Door knocking for convention estates. You can go throughout your neighborhood and just knock on doors if you want. Or if you drive down the street and see somebody in your neighborhood, perhaps, that has a U.S. Flag in front of their home, or maybe some other kind of a patriotic-looking flag, and you want to stop and just get acquainted and say, hey, I see you're a patriot, and do you know about convention estates? Talk to them about it. If just knock on that door, that's worth a point. If you get a petition signed, that's worth 2 points. We have a number of people, several people that engage in this, and it's a great way to kind of get acquainted with your neighbors and to build knowledge and support for convention estates. The next group of activities are worth 5 points apiece. Published letter to the editor. If you write a letter to the editor, I encourage you to do that and send it to the papers in your area. If any of them publish it, that's worth 5 points. If several of them publish it, it's 5 points for each one. If you write a website blog, those can be submitted to national and put on the national page. Or if you have another blog that you write a blog about convention estates, that's worth 5 points. If you prepare a district newsletter, whether it's a written letter or a video letter, that's worth 5 points. You can do that. I encourage you to do that every month, in fact, to send to your volunteers. And I'm going to be doing some training on how to do a newsletter. I did one on a video newsletter, but we've learned through the help of the state of Missouri a very easy way to create a very excellent newsletter without that much work and send it around to your volunteers. I'll be doing some training about that later on. If you happen to be invited onto State Director Dale Parrish's Indiana Live Facebook broadcast that he does each Monday night, you can get 5 points if you're invited to be a guest on there. And if you got something you want to talk about, let him know, or he may be calling on you to ask you to appear as a guest. If you work the table at an event, and the events we've done most with are county fairs and gun shows, if you volunteer to work on the table at an event for an hour or two or whatever, that's worth 5 points. Face-to-face meeting with another district captain or volunteer. I want to encourage this because we find that when district captains or activists get together, a lot of good things happen. They build relationships with each other, and a lot of times ideas come out of that for ways to grow the grassroots and engage more people in convention estates. And then the last group of activities you can see are worth 10 points apiece, and we're targeting the accumulation of just 12 grassroots points per calendar quarter. So if you engage in one of these, you're practically there, and in fact you'll see you can probably get way past there with just one of these events. So the first one is a presentation at a town hall meeting scheduled by the district captain. So if you make a presentation at a town hall style meeting that you have scheduled and invited people to attend, and you get some people there, you get 10 points for that, plus 1 point for each guest who comes, and 2 points for each petition that is signed. So even if you only get a half a dozen people there, you could easily rack up 20 points at a town hall meeting if you can get some people to come out to it. Some people have a lot of success with this, and encourage you to contact volunteers in your area and invite them to a town hall meeting if you schedule one. 10 points for sponsoring an information table at an event. Got a lot of folks do this at county fairs and at gun shows in particular. So you take the responsibility for setting up the table, contacting the event sponsor, getting the payment made. Payments are paid by National, but you have to fill out the paperwork and submit that to National and submit it to the local sponsor. If you have questions about how to do that, contact me. I'll help you out, and I will also can potentially connect you with somebody who's done it at numerous events in the past. So if you do that, that's worth 10 points, plus you get 2 points for each petition that's signed. Now, it'd probably be good to spread those points around and give those to other people who will work the table with you because you can rack up. It's not unusual for us to get 50 signatures at an event table. Sometimes we'll get a couple hundred in a couple-day event. So there's points there, and it's not that we're necessarily trying to rack up points, but we are trying to rack up petitions because we want to get to 52,000 supporters this year in Indiana. We're at about 40,000 at the beginning of the year, and one of our goals is to get to 52,000. The third one, worth 10 points, is to organize a walk, drive, or appearance in a parade. In the summertime, there are festivals all over the state of Indiana. Many little towns have their own little event, and they'll have a parade, maybe a fair, things like that. If you want to participate in that parade, and you can get some other folks, volunteers, to come with you, it's worth 10 points to organize it and 1 point per participant. If you can get 10 people to walk in the parade and help you carry the banner and maybe hand out information to people who might want to engage and know more, can get some points there. We've also initiated a new program this year of district captain mentoring. So as new district captains come on, we want to assign an experienced district captain to mentor them. And if you become a mentor to someone, that's worth 10 points. If there's a radio station in your area that might want to invite you on as a guest, that's worth 10 points. If you have radio stations in your area that have talk programs and they interview people, contact the station, contact the host of that program, send them an email, say, hey, I'd like to be on and talk about convention estates. We've had some success with this, and it's a great way for us to spread the word and grow the grassroots. And as you can see, we have a target of 12 grassroots points per calendar quarter. A couple of activities will get you to that 12. A goal for each district captain is to accumulate 50 grassroots points in a year. And one of the ways we want to use this, and the way I want you to fill it out, is like this. So from the time of the last state call until a day or two before the next state call, you can go through here and record your own points in this grayed out column for all the activities that you do for that month. Then a day or two before the monthly call, and for example, the one in January is coming up here on January 22nd, so maybe by the 20th, you send this to me with your points recorded, and on the monthly call, I will make a report of that. Once that call has happened, we'll move those points from the January column into this column here to the right, where we'll record the points for the year, and then we'll start again afresh for the next month. So once we've recorded these January points, even though an activity might take place in January, if it's after the state call, then just record them for the following month, and those will be for the February state call, and so on throughout the year. And as we go through each monthly state call, I'll be making a report about how many maybe total of points we've accumulated during the month, and maybe hit some highlights of some people who've done some exciting things that really engaged growth of grassroots or building legislator relationships. Many of you know we've got something coming up on January the 14th that we're going to have a group go down to the state capitol. Great opportunity there for points. We'll be doing a legislative surge, a capital surge event later on this month. Or I'm sorry, later on during the legislative session, so sometime later in January or in February and March. Hopefully you can get in on that if you're not getting in on the one here the 14th. If you have questions about this, you want to know more about it, you want help filling it out, help understanding how to use this tool. It's a tool to help you become engaged and effective. Call me, send me a message on Slack, whatever you can do to contact me. I'll get back in touch with you. I'll be glad to spend some time talking about this and how you can be and engaged leader for Convention of States. And I'm here to help all of you be as effective and engaged as you can be. Please feel free to reach out to me if I can help you in any way to be more effective in your role as a district captain for the Indiana Convention of States project. And that's all I got tonight, folks. Thanks for watching, and look forward to seeing you face-to-face or maybe on calls throughout the coming months. And so be active and be engaged. Have a great evening. Bye now.